Mexico hosted a summit on migration over the weekend. Leaders of Cuba, Venezuela, Colombia, and Haiti were among the attendees. The Latin American countries addressed the root causes of the migrant crisis and the spike of unlawful crossings into the U.S. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News contributor Enrique Acevedo. First, break down for us what was discussed at the summit.
It's always great to see you, Vlad and Anne-Marie. Well, these 10 countries, Caribbean and Latin American countries, came together to talk about the root causes of immigration. They pointed fingers, mainly at the U.S., trying to start a conversation about this paradigm of co-responsibility. That means what the U.S. has done historically to, in their words, incentivize undocumented immigration from the region to the United States. Mainly two issues here at play. First, sanctions, and this is particularly important in the case of Cuba and Venezuela, two countries that were part of the summit, and then a new architecture for national debt. What they want is to restructure basically their commitments to international organizations like the IMF, like the U.S. in terms of their loans and their debt, and have that as a starting point of a conversation to tackle immigration regionally, focusing on the root causes.
So out of curiosity, was there a representative from the U.S. there?
No, there was no representative from the U.S. And when I say there's a lot of finger pointing, I didn't hear a lot from the leaders of Venezuela and Cuba and other nations like Haiti about why some of these people are escaping the horrible conditions in which they live in. And it's basically when you talk to people from Venezuela, which is now the leading nation behind the immigration to the U.S., is bad governance, the dictatorship in Venezuela. So I think it's a good starting point in terms of having a dialogue and a conversation, a regional dialogue with the countries of origin for most of the migrants now, people from Central America, again, the Caribbean, Ecuador and Panama, which are part of the Darien Gap. So it's an important conversation to be having. I'm glad Mexico is moderating that discussion. But to be honest, there's still a lot of soul searching, let's call it that, from these nations in terms of their own responsibility in this regional crisis.
It's an important point. I was just having a conversation with a friend about this very subject, which this person said that the United States and some countries in Western Europe are at the breaking point when it comes to migration from countries around the world. And that is true. On the flip side, it's what you're saying, Enrique, which there have been geopolitical strategies that this country and Western countries have put into place that have led to some of the either authoritarian dictatorships that we see in some of these countries, or even trade policies that have adversely affected these countries, which has led to poverty. That being said, the point is also made that the leaders of those countries themselves, once they are in power, should also be held responsible for what is happening within their own borders. So it's not a black or white.
And it's certainly an important meeting to have. But if you are going to focus primarily on the U.S. and what it's done, and they're not even there, then you're kind of wasting your time. Not a complete waste of time, Enrique, as you point out. Like, it's a conversation that needs to happen and to start.
So, And so, were there any solutions? In other words, did they say, "Well, here's what we need to do to try at least to fix this"?
I think they came up with a list that's around 8 concrete steps that they are going to implement in their own countries, and then try to have this dialogue with the U.S., which is the main receptor of most undocumented migrants in the region. But I think there's also an opportunity here for the U.S. to recognize that, for the last 4 or 5 decades, we focused so much on the border, on securing the border, and there's a notion now that there's just so much you can do at the border. You can keep spending billions and billions of dollars to try to stop people there, or you can start investing and working with the countries of origin to try to have people stay there before they make the decision to migrate north.
All right, Enrique, thank you very much.